The clock struck midnight in a room illuminated only by moonlight. A locked window revealing the eerie darkness of a summer night. Tree branches blew in the wind nearby, and shadows seemed to dance across the walls. In the room lay a small bed with white sheets, a young boy sitting up and staring at the window in silence. He had been staring for what seemed like hours, not reacting to the shadows or the wind outside. Instead, his eyes stared into the darkness as the moonlight allowed him to see just enough of the outside world that he was not completely blind. Then, with little warning, a figure appeared to stand impossibly in front of the window, despite the room being on the second floor of a sizable home. The figure stood in silence, staring into the room with large eyes that shone a bright green. A single skeletal hand came into view and tapped on the window, motioning to the lock. The boy in the bed shook his head a little. The figure tapped once more on the window and motioned again. The boy shook his head some more. The figure stared at the boy and started to tilt his head, then slowly but surely disappeared into the darkness. The boy let out a little sigh of relief and began to lie down in his bed. He had finally taken the advice of his parents and stood up to his fears. For the last couple of nights he had to run to his parents whenever the window man appeared. But now that he finally stood up to it, he felt relaxed, calm. The boy afforded a little smile to himself and closed his eyes, ready to sleep and forget he had ever been silly enough to be kept awake by the window man. Then after a few moments of silence, the boy's eyes opened as he heard tapping at the window. His heart racing slightly as he sat back up to see those glowing green eyes once again staring at him. The figure tapped again at the window and motioned at the lock. The boy shook his head and the figure's gaze soon shifted towards the lock. The boy's gaze followed and his eyes grew wide. The lock was open. The figure's glowing eyes once again looked up at the boy, and the window began to slowly open, long fingers sliding under it and lifting it upwards as the boy covered his head in the bed sheets.